So I want to do a quick video today on mylar and what bags are going to work when it comes to freeze drying, and as well as like other preservation methods as far as packaging goes. When it comes to mylar, you are going to get what you pay for. What makes mylar is the fact that it's got plastic and then aluminum and then plastic. And that aluminum layer is really important when it comes to preserving food for 30 years. If you don't have it or if it's not thick enough, then it's just not going to work. So our bags are a really good example of what true 7mm mylar is. They're 200 microns thick, or 7 mils, and then they have a 12 micron thick aluminum layer. When you feel them, they feel almost like aluminum. Cheaper mylar, is going to feel just like plastic. It's also going to feel thinner. You can physically feel the thickness of this. When you crease it in your hands, it feels thicker. Sometimes when you order 7mm mylar on Amazon, it shows up and it's actually just 3mm, and it's not even mylar. It's just silver plastic. So these are Skittles that have been done for several years, and I just used just a regular vacuum sealer, like a food saver package. This food saver package allowed a minute amount of water in, and they are no longer freeze-dried Skittles. They've actually rehydrated a little bit. So I have never gotten any kind of clear plastic to work in long-term food storage. There's bags that have like a mylar back with like a clear front. I've never been able to get those to work. I've never gotten these to work, not for long-term food storage. You can definitely use like mason jars. That definitely works. This mylar is also resistant to the sun, and it doesn't allow any light in. So that's one thing that if you are using glass jars, you want to keep it in a dark, cool place because the food isn't going to be protected from light. Keeping them in the dark or in a mylar bag that's going to prevent the light from getting in there, that's going to be super important. Another thing that you're never going to want to skimp on is oxygen absorbers. If there's any oxygen at all in your food packages, it's going to spoil the food. So I generally do 2 to 3 times as many oxygen absorbers as what I think I'm going to need. I will try and press all the air out of the bag to give the oxygen absorbers as little work to do as possible. If you have some kind of a vacuum sealer and you can get that to work, that would be awesome, but you would want to use that in addition to the oxygen absorbers. Another thing when it comes to packaging the food in bags is that you're going to want to get your food inside the bags as quickly as possible. The food, when it comes out of the freeze dryer, in general, it has a water content of about 1%. Sometimes it's 2%. Most of the time it's 1% or less. That is so dry that it will act as a desiccant, and it will attract water out of the air and deposit it into the food. So getting your food packaged as quickly as possible into the mylar bags and then getting them sealed, if you can just get the food in there and then just Ziploc it, that will even help keep the water out of the food. Our unit, it comes with 50 mylar bags, so it comes with these and you can start freeze drying right out of the box. It also comes with an impulse sealer. If you're using thin mylar, this will melt through it. If you're using something that's not actually mylar, or if you're using 3mm mylar for short-term food storage, each mylar is going to be a little different, so just kind of play around with that heat setting. Another thing that I like to do when I am sealing my bags is I like to double seal it, or sometimes if I can, I'll triple seal it. So I will pull it tight and then I'll seal it, and then I'll double seal it. And if I have the room, sometimes I will even put a seal on the other side of the Ziploc bag. It just depends on how confident I am in that seal, but more seals the better. You do want to make sure that you aren't putting holes in it. If you're using a thinner mylar, you want to make sure that you're not getting holes either through the mylar or actually melting a hole into the mylar. That's going to be super important as far as keeping your food for 30 years. So once you've got your mylar sealed and you've got your food packaged, you're going to want to keep it in a nice, dry, cool place. So I personally like to store mine in some kind of big tote that I can pick up a bunch in. You don't want mice or something chewing through your packaging. If you get even a tiny pinhole in your mylar, you are going to spoil that package. That's why I personally keep mine in totes. On some of my mylar, I've actually double bagged it. So I had some really cheap mylar laying around, so I said, hey, I'm going to take my nice mylar and then I'm going to put it inside of a cheaper mylar, and then it's going to keep forever. Thanks for watching, and don't forget that you can get all these things at our website at bluealpinefreezedryers.com.